Yo, 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 welcome back to the Hulaham Hour. I am your host, Curtis Branham, joined with my co-host, Nick Julio. What up, brother?
What's going on, man?
Another week, another dollar. Let's kick it. So, NFL regular season is in the books. Week 18 was awesome. Honestly, I think why I think it was so awesome was the Lions game. I was very worried going into that game with the defensive injuries we have, with all sorts of things. And my mind was blown away by the Detroit Lions defense. Holding Minnesota to no touchdowns is something I'm not sure anybody did all year. I didn't look that up, but I almost can confidently say I don't think they win a game without scoring a touchdown except for Week 18. My biggest thing I pointed out to you, Nick, during the game was the impact of Alex Anzalone. I knew that man was an impactful defensive player. I in no way, shape, or form thought he was the heart and soul to the point that he was. Not to jump the gun, but I'm very excited about this game. Nick, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts was absolutely amazing. I was kind of wondering whose defense that was on the field.
It's an Aaron Glenn defense. Defense.
It is now.
It is now. Yeah, very, very exciting about that. I just could not believe, if we get even one or two guys back more with this bye week, it's gonna be a very, very hard thing to lose for us. I've not been. I thought I was excited last year when I got to actually go to the game against the Rams and see the first playoff game for the Lions in a while. Not only the first home playoff game in forever. Cried like a baby at the end of that game when they won. Was just absolutely mind blown with it. But I think I'm almost more excited for this year. How are you?
I'm definitely way more excited. We're more explosive than we even were last year. We get Carlton Davis back for the playoffs. We need another corner.
Yep. And in the ticker this week, you can see that I have that rumor about Hutchinson coming back possibly if they do make the Super Bowl. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that if it's going to hurt him for all of next year, we shouldn't bring him back. It just depends on how he's feeling.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be really hard, though, if he is cleared to play, for him to not play. Like, as a player, I would imagine for him that's got to be almost impossible. I guess we'll cross that bridge when the time comes. But to not get too far off track, to stick with it, we're going to get to our recap of Week 18. Okay. So, got a lot to go over. Nick, we're just going to start off by the fact of the overallness. You went 12-4 this week. Congrats. That's a very good record. And I went 9-7 and did not have a very good week. FanDuel even was like, "Hey, dude, that's not normally how you pick. What the hell's going on, man?" Or not FanDuel. Screw FanDuel. I hate FanDuel. DraftKings. Anyways, okay, go over things. Saturday's game to start off: Browns and the Ravens. Ravens taking it 35-10. Ravens wrap up the AFC North with a win, 35-10. Rout of Cleveland. Jackson surpasses 4,000 passing yards and also threw 2 tutties. We both took the Ravens in that one. That one was kind of a no-brainer. They would have had to send out Jesus Christ himself to play quarterback for the Cleveland Browns for them to even have a shot in hell. Yeah, so not much to say about that one. 35-10 is a blowout even with backups, which is nuts. Bengals-Steelers was a little bit better of a game. It was a lot more lower scoring than I thought. What did you think?
Yeah, but let's get into Week 18. It's going to start becoming more defensive battles the 50-point games are going to be going out the window.
Yeah, yes and no. because not to get too far ahead here, but Panthers Falcons, two teams that had terrible offenses all year, decided to score 44 and 38. But anyways, Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals kept their playoff hopes alive by edging the Steelers. However, with all the other dominoes that fell the way they fell, the Bengals did fall short again. I think they would have been very difficult to play in the playoffs if they had have made it, but they didn't. So here we are. Okay. Panthers Falcons game. Speaking of them, well, you know what? Actually, I'm going to back up. I want to talk about the Steelers really fast. As a Steelers fan, it just seems like it's every year that the same thing happens, where they just hot out the gate and then hit the skids towards the end of the year. As an organization, Mike Tomlin's no G. I'm just going to say that he's one of the best coaches of all time. For him to never have a season under 500 with the Steelers since he's been there 20 years almost, hasn't he?
17, I think.
Yeah. You can't fire the man. It's obviously not anything that he's doing wrong. It just seems like the last few years, though, the regression has been towards the end of the year, which is causing them to be one and done in the playoffs. If they can't not be one and done, which they're on a 4-game skid, it's going to be tough. I saw something that teams were inquiring about possibly trading for Mike Tomlin, which would be kind of wild. I really didn't think coaches could be traded.
Yes, they can.
But they can, which, again, is kind of wild to me. But, yeah, what are your thoughts on the Steelers and their chances in the playoffs?
So the Steelers' offense is exactly what we thought they were going to be. The problem right now is their defense always creates turnovers, and they're not creating any turnovers the last 4 weeks. They live and die off that.
It's very true. It's very true. They do. And George Pickens got rocks for hands. That don't help either. I don't know what the hell's going on with that man.
He's young and immature.
Yep, but I hope you figure it out because playoffs. It's playoffs. We're talking about the playoffs. All right. Moving on. And I wish we were talking about the Bengals' chances because they'd have some pretty high ones. Panthers Falcons. What a game, dude. I think this game was probably more on red zone than any other game just because there were 82 points scored. Bryce Young accounts for 5 tutties as Panthers beat Falcons 44-38 in overtime. Atlanta misses playoffs again. So, going to throw this one out there for you. If Atlanta played Michael Penix all year, where do you think they'd be?
I think they would have won their division.
Do you?
I do, because think about it. He had a couple of slow first starts. If they would have thrown him in earlier in the year, he could have got that out of the way and just rocked the offense the rest of the year. He's shown what he can do.
Yeah, it's tough to say. Obviously, you can't say for sure. However, I'll say this. They could have spent all that money they spent on Kirk Cousins on like 6 other good players. I just don't understand what they were. I mean, I get what they were thinking originally, but for them to then take a quarterback, like we wouldn't even be having this discussion had they not have drafted Michael Penix. But we are because they drafted Michael Penix, and then he came in and is playing better on a rookie contract than Kirk Cousins is playing. He's just pulling a Sam Bradford. But I don't know. We'll see next year what happens not only with Cousins, but what happens with the Falcons and Michael Penix. We'll see. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. But Bryce Young showing a lot of optimism towards the end of the year this year. I was very impressed with him. 5 touchdowns in a game. Not a lot of people have ever done that, period. What are your thoughts on the Panthers going into next year?
I think they left on a pretty high note this year. Their record doesn't reflect how close some of their games were against some of the top teams in the league.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, 5-12, it's pretty shitty, but they did not play like a 5-12 team these last few games of the season. So I'm excited to see them come next year. Chuba Hubbard's a gangster, so we'll see. See how
My projection: Kirk Cousins moves before the draft.
I think he will too. I'm very unsure as to where he'll go. I'm not even sure wherever he goes that he'll start. especially after he played this year, unless he can somehow convince that it wasn't anything to do with himself, that it was all the playbook and the players around him, which good luck.
There's so many teams that need a quarterback, though, that Kirk Cousins is better than their whole staff.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. Yeah, to be honest, there is probably a plethora of places that he could go that he would do pretty well at. Atlanta just was not a fit for him from the get. I didn't really understand. It's dirty bird. He ain't no dirty bird.
If people say Aaron Rodgers can start, he definitely can.
Hey, we'll get to him in a little bit. Excuse me. Okay, moving on. Commanders, Cowboys. We knew this was going to be the way that it was. Not in the sense of closeness, but in the sense of the Commanders winning. Oh, by the way, to back up, Nick, you picked the Bengals. I got the Steelers, so I got that one wrong, and you got that one right. And you also called the Panthers, and I called the Falcons. So, again, you got that right. I got that wrong. We both called the Commanders in this game, which we both were correct on, which was a nice, refreshing change of pace for me. The Cowboys played Trey Lance, did they not?
Yes, they did.
They did. Okay. And
they just wanted to screw Cooper Rush out of his $250,000 bonus.
Yeah. You know, because Jerry Jones is such a fucking tight ass.
Pretty much.
So, Marcus Mariota leads playoff-bound Commanders 23-19 win over Cowboys after replacing Daniels. Daniels sat in the second half, or it wasn't in the plan, but I believe some things corresponded out of their control that made them bench him when they locked up the 5 seed, right? 7 seed? 7 seed. 6. One of those fucking numbers.
6 seed.
Yeah, that game wasn't very exciting to watch, obviously. Low scoring. Backups in. But we'll see how the Commanders do in the playoffs. All right, moving on to a game that shocked me and caused me on DraftKings to lose a bet very quickly. Bears-Packers. Bears rally for 24-22 win in Green Bay as Packers lose Love and Watson. Watson's out for the year with a torn ACL. Jordan Love, I know, has a hand injury of some sort. I'm not sure the extent of it. But my best wishes to him. I don't like to see any player get hurt, even though it is against one of our rivals. I'm still rooting for them to come back, but also lose in the first round of the playoffs. I read a stat. I don't remember if it was 2008 or 2018, but I want to say it was 2008 since it's been that the Bears won at Lambeau. Which, if that is the case, holy shit. It's been a while, Chicago, so good for you guys. I'm happy for you. Any words on that game, Nick?
Just wondering on how Jordan Love's going to be feeling. They're going into Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts is back to practice. If they don't have Jordan Love, that's going to be a rough game.
Yeah, to say the least. It's definitely going to be rough, but Huntley, their backup, he's played very well in lieu of him. So, I'm not saying he is the same quarterback, but he's played well. So, we'll see. All right, Texans-Titans. 23-14 Texans. We all kind of knew that. We both called the Texans. Or no, you called the Titans. I called the Texans. So I got you on this one. This playoff-bound Texans cruise to 23-14 win over the Titans, who land number 1 draft pick. Clearly, they need a quarterback. What do you? Well, first off, not to go too far off here, but I always think I know who's going to go into the draft as like one of the number 1 quarterbacks, and it's never them. So who do you think is going to be the number 1 quarterback this year in this draft?
I think Cam Ward's going to be the number 1. He's the all-around better player.
Yeah. I just have no clue. I really don't know. The only player I've seen play consistently very well was Gabriel from Oregon, and he got the shit rocked out of him by Ohio State, which means I don't even think he's going to be worth a shit in the league now. No, I don't know. It's going to be a fun draft, though. I'm really looking forward to our episodes that revolve around the draft. I love talking draft. Yeah, I don't know what the Titans are going to do. I don't know if they'll go quarterback or if they'll try to just, maybe they'll try to get Kirk Cousins. Who fucking knows? I guess time will tell. Yeah, that was kind of a bumble game. Gave Coach from trip. Yeah, okay. Yep, fun. Another overtime bullshit game. Jags Colts. Good for the Colts. You won again against the Jags. The Jags, they already fired Doug Peterson. That's old news now.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor and Joe Flacco lead Colts to 26-23 overtime. Win over Jags. It's not much to say about this game because it's pretty irrelevant. We both picked the Colts to win, which we both were correct. Anyways, any words on that game? I don't have shit to say because it's fucking irrelevant.
It's just a rough game to watch.
Good thing I watched it on Red Zone.
Shout
out Scott Hansen. All right. Upset of the week. Now, granted, Josh Allen started the game to keep his start streak alive. Respect to that. And they already had their playoffs wrapped up. Respect to that, too. But to lose to the Patriots this late in the season just seems friggin' embarrassing. Just embarrassing. Don't care if you're playing your backups or not. Like, the Lions have been playing with a backup defense for the last 7 weeks, and we just seem to keep winning. So, anyways, you got any words for Bills Mafia?
I wouldn't take this one to heart, and good luck, New England, on finding a new head coach.
Yeah, for Robert Kraft to say, oh, we didn't put him in the best of scenarios, but we're still going to let you go. Like, that just is like...
Like, Robert, you put him there.
Stab, twist, lemon juice, salt, fucking... Oh, my God, man. I mean, Robert Kraft, how old is Robert Kraft? He's got to be like 1,000.
He's got to be like late 70s.
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, good luck to New England, but you were too good for too long to be worth a shit for the next 10 years. So, good luck. That's coming from a Lions fan.
He's still not too old to get hookers.
God love America. All right. Another game we both called. Giants-Eagles. Giants are pieces of shit. We know this. It's nothing new. Barkley and Hurts said his Eagles tune up for the playoffs with a 20-13 win over the Giants. I have nothing but massive respect and good things to say about Saquon Barkley having the ability to be humble enough. I think he sat for more than one reason. I think he sat, obviously, to stay healthy, but I also think he sat because then he played the same amount of games that Eric Dickerson did. And he can say, I came close, but I didn't get it. Because if he'd have got it, he'd have been living with that asterisk next to that record forever. What do you think about that?
There's no asterisk if he breaks that record. It's not his fault they added another game. The regular season's the regular season.
You know where I'm coming from with, like, the principle and respect thing. That's where I'm coming from on it.
Well, we just dealt with this with college, too. And if Gentry would have got in the college football playoff when they disallowed 288 yards that Barry had, he still would have had it, and they wouldn't have put an asterisk by it.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And I know that the leagues are going to keep expanding. Games are, seasons are going to start getting longer, things like that. But, props to Saquon for doing what he did. Not many people would. Yeah, Giants, good luck next year. You're going to need it and then some. Eagles, probably seeing the playoffs. Fuck you then. Saints, Bucks. Saints look like fucking rock stars the first half of that game. Bucks looked like shit the first half of that game. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Baker woke up second half. Bucks beat Saints 27-19. Clinch NFC South. And shout out Mike Evans. Getting that 1,000-yard season. Ties Jerry Rice for most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons.
3 shy. Jerry had 14. He's got 11.
He's got 11. Okay. He tied somebody then. I misheard that.
Second place.
Okay.
But he's 3 shy of Jerry.
Okay. Either way, Mike still has enough gas left in the tank to do that. He does. He's nowhere near the caliber of wide receiver that Jerry Rice was, but it's definitely impressive. I've never been a huge Mike Evans fan his entire career, but I can't not respect it. I can't. It's impressive what you've done. I'm glad I got to see you play live against the Lions last year. That was fun, even though we whooped your ass. Anyways, Bucks in the playoffs. We'll see how they do. Yeah. Moving on. Chiefs Broncos. What a bullshit fucking game, huh? Lead me what you thought about it before I even say anything on it.
Okay, so the Chiefs can sit here and say that they're not scared of anybody, but they were damn well scared of fucking Joe Burrow, and that's why they let this fucking rout happen. Yeah. Absolutely didn't want to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs, and they'd much rather see Denver.
That is a very good ideology about that. I never thought of it from that angle. That's really cool that you thought of it that way. And you're probably right, those devil worshiping assholes. How
hot Joe Burrow has been, that's the last team they wanted to see.
Yeah. Yep.
Throw a rookie in the fire for the playoffs. Let's see how he pulls out.
But you got to give credit to Bo Nix. Bo Nix has come in, got Denver their first playoff bid since Peyton Manning was there. It's been 10 years since almost 10 years. 9 years, right? I think 9 years.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And shout out, broke the passing rookie touchdown record, Bo Nix.
Great job, Bo Nix. You got bows of steel. Big Nix energy. You feel me. You all feel me. Pointing at the right camera this week, ladies and gents. Absolutely loving it. Chargers, Raiders. We knew Chargers were going to win this. That was pretty obvious. Raiders choked big time. Justin Herbert and Chargers secure AFC's number 5 seed with 34-20 win over the Las Vegas Raiders. Not much to say about this game. Oh, kind of find it funny. This is kind of a weird stat. This quarter line went 3-7, 3-7 for the Raiders and 3-14, 3-14 for the Chargers. That's weird. Weird stat line that you're not going to see on ESPN, ladies and gentlemen. No, you will not.
Bye, Antonio Pierce.
So, Raiders let him go, or have they not?
Oh, yeah.
They let him go? Okay.
Oh, yeah, he's gone.
He gone.
One and done.
One and done. They got a lot of work to do out that way. Good luck. I seen a headline earlier that Tom Brady apparently reached out to Bill Belichick for that head coaching vacancy. Because they kind of knew what was going on, apparently. I wouldn't have liked that. I don't think that Bill's not going to look good in silver. He ain't going to look good in Tar Heel blue, but he ain't going to look any better in that black and silver. What are your thoughts?
I think Belichick went to the right place. It's going to be fun to see him in college. And frankly, if you're going to fire a coach after 1 year, it's hard to want to get any actual good coach that you won't give anybody a chance to do more than 1 year. You gave him a shit team and told him to succeed.
Amen. Chargers, they're looking good going into the playoffs. Number 1 wild card seed in the AFC.
I do believe so.
Which, they typically do all right. They're going to be going into we'll be going over the playoffs here shortly. I don't need to not look at notes. Next game, Seahawks-Rams. You took Seahawks, I took Rams. I took the Rams not knowing Matt Stafford was going to not be playing. Jimmy Garoppolo did look very good, though. Geno Smith throws career-high 4 tutties in Seahawks' 30-25 win over playoff-bound Rams. I think, did the Seahawks have a chance to make the playoffs in this game at all? No, they didn't.
Because even if they won, St. Louis still had the tiebreaker, so it didn't make a difference.
Okay, so that's why Matt Stafford sat. Okay. That makes more sense. Then I probably did know that he wasn't going to play. I just forgot. That makes
the only difference was Geno Smith made $6 million in incentive bonuses on that game for his year.
I thought it was only like $500K.
$2 million for 3 different accolades.
That is good for him. Good for
Jamal
him.
Pease.
What a gangster. Geno Smith, you might not have made the playoffs, but you got that bread, homie. Rock on. That's awesome. Okay. Not much else to say about that game. It was pretty, Okay. Here comes a fun one to talk about. Dolphins-Jets. Just, my thoughts on Aaron Rodgers. I don't know, man. It was cool to watch him throw a 500th. He's the 5th player ever to do that. Vontae Adams got to catch one for him too, even though it was a 501st. But it was his season high 4 touchdowns that helped them top the Dolphins and knock the Dolphins out of the playoffs. Tyreek Hill's pulling an Antonio Brown in more than one way. I'm so sorry that you frickin'... You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This is exactly why I benched your ass and when I named my team after you and still won a championship. Take that, Tyreek Hill, and fuck off. Anyways, yeah, now that I'm calmed down, the Jets look decent. I don't know. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is coming back next year?
It won't be for the Jets if he does. He'll be on one of them really bad teams, and I don't necessarily know if he'll be as a starter. He didn't play bad football.
If he doesn't start, he's not coming back. If he can't get a starting gig somewhere, he's not coming back. There's no way.
Well, they're saying New Orleans, Oakland, Tennessee, Giants. There's a lot of teams that are not a very draft-heavy quarterback.
He can go there and
so somebody's going to need somebody.
Yeah, somebody needs somebody. All right, moving on. That game sucked, by the way. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers threw 4 touchdowns. So leave it to the week I don't have fantasy for you to actually show up, you bitch. All right. 49ers Cardinals. Holy shit, what a blowout. Where was this all year, Kyler Murray? Kyler Murray throws 4 tutties. And Cardinals beat 49ers 47-24 in the finale of the regular season. That meant absolutely jack shit for both of these teams. Yeah, thoughts, Nick?
It was an ass whooping. There isn't much to talk about. Arizona wanted to go out on a high note, and the Niners just summed up a year of how it's been.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much, man. Yeah, I ain't got much to say on it. They didn't even show very much of it, even though it was only one of a couple games in the late window, I think. So, yeah. And that brings us to the last game of the week. The Lions-Vikings. I know I touched on this when we first got on the episode because I was so excited about it. Jahmyr Gibbs, 4 touchdowns. Vikings didn't score a touchdown. Lions, only 2 losses were at home this year, which blows my mind. We're undefeated on the road. I'd almost rather played playoff games on the road, but I'd rather have the week off. David Montgomery might be coming back.
Is coming back.
We have a laundry list of players that are going to be coming back. We have home field advantage. I don't see us not making it all the way to the Super Bowl, but greater things have happened. The game was fun to watch on a level. Did the Lions never trailed in this game, did they? I don't think. Yeah, it was 7-0 the first quarter. It was 10. They scored 6 in the second. Yeah, we never trailed. We got the lead and we never trailed, which is something that's not happened very often for us this year. Yeah, it was probably my most impressive Lions game of the year. Period. Like, so much at stake, so much on the line, so much pressure. Chris Collinsworth was on there saying it was louder in there than it was for any playoff game last year, which is freaking unbelievable. Because I was there for the Rams game, and my ears rang for a freaking week after that shit. It was nuts. So I'm pumped, man. Detroit's there. There was no purple in those stands. None. There's going to be no visiting fans coming to these games. People, do not resell your tickets. If you resell your tickets, sell them to people you know that are Lions fans. Because if you sell them to anybody that is for the other team, you are on the other team. Just remember that. So
by the way, you You got a stat wrong earlier. The Vikings won a game earlier in the year without scoring a touchdown. They beat the Jaguars.
Friggin' lame asses. I'll get that stat wrong all day long. So I'll get stats wrong when you suck all the time.
That's hilarious, though. Twice in a year.
That is frickin' funny. All right. What are your overall thoughts on the game, though?
I think we found the method to rattle Sam Darnold. Hit him a lot, make him uncomfortable. If he's got time, he drops dimes.
Yeah,
Make him run around.
He even had time. He did have time multiple times, but the coverage was so good, and that's something I don't want people to forget. The coverage was good.
And I know Robertson has played Justin Jefferson since high school, so he pretty much knows every move known to man that he can do. But where has he been against every other great receiver?
Yep, but when you've played against someone so long, you know them. You know them like the back of your hand, and that speaks volumes, obviously. And I bet that's a tactic that teams start taking going forward. But how many times does that happen ever? Like, oh, I guarded this kid in high school and in college, and now we're in the NFL both together, so I'm going to guard him because I know what he eats for lunch every day. Like, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, moving on. Oh, playoff bracket, please. Goddamn devil worshiping Chiefs. Okay. God, it's so satisfying to see them at number 1. All right. We're going to start with the NFC. Actually, no, we're going to start with the AFC. We're going to start with the AFC. Wild card weekend. Another week in the books. Okay, let's do this. Texans, Chargers. Who you got and why?
I got the Chargers because I think the Texans, even in this last game of the year, have still just looked very poor on offense, and the Chargers have a good defense. And they're going to run it right down their throat.
Yeah, can't disagree. I have the Chargers for a different reason. I guess different reason and not different reason. I have the Chargers, 1, because they're hot right now. Jim Harbaugh has this team looking better than it has in a long time. And 2, the Texans just look like dog shit lately. They just don't look the same. Curse of the Ohio State quarterback and C.J. Stroud. There's never been a super successful quarterback out of Ohio State ever in the history of ever, nor will there be. Sorry. Even though I'd like Justin Fields to take the Steelers to a Super Bowl, that'd be cool. However, yeah, I just can't bet against the Chargers, Justin Herbert, and Jim Harbaugh right now. They're hot. It's going to be fun to watch. But I think even though the Chargers are going into Houston, I think they're just going to rout them. So, yep, we both got Chargers. Spread's 3.5 for Los Angeles, by the way. So, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yep. Ravens, Steelers. Who you got and why, bud?
I think the Ravens are going to win this by about 15.
You know, the spread's not that high, but it's close.
It should be with how the Steelers on a 4-game losing streak backing their way into the playoffs.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely. I think the Ravens are going to win this game, but I'm going to pick the Steelers because I cannot pick against them. And who knows? Maybe they'll show up. Maybe Russell Wilson will get a little like Jesus magic or something going on and find a way. Highly doubt it, but we'll see. So I'm taking them anyways.
Would he get cataracts over the week or something?
or a fat BJ, one of the two. All right, Bills Broncos. Who you got and why?
You know, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to go with the Broncos on this one.
Dude,
I think rolling in hot, and they got a top 5 defense. I think let's see how Bo Nix does under pressure.
I hope you're right. I really hope that you're right. I do. But I'm going to take the Bills because they are just the superior team. But it would be so much fun to watch them lose. It would be. It would be very fun to see Brandon Perna lose his freaking shit on a live stream. That would be really funny. Shout out Brandon Perna. Let's link up and do a video together, bro. Anyways, moving on. AFC, we'll come back and go off of who will play who next after we do NFC picks. Lions 1 seed. Can't get sick of saying that. Rams Vikings. There is a watch with the California wildfires. Shout out to everybody out there. Hope everybody's doing all right. That the game might have to be moved because of those. Let's hope not. However, Rams Vikings, who you got and why?
I got the Vikings bouncing back after last week. They were pretty embarrassed last week, and I think they're going to come out firing.
You know, I can agree with you. The line is one for Minnesota. However, Matt Stafford in the playoffs, as we all know, is good. He's a lot better than he was when he played for Detroit, but he also played for Detroit when Detroit was Detroit. I'm going to take the Rams in this because I really, truly feel like, yeah, they might come out swinging, but they got their shit rattled. And typically it's very hard to come back after that. It's one thing if you just, like, lose. It's another thing if you lose the way that they did. And the way that they lost is telling me that the Rams are going to win this game. Matt Stafford, I'm rooting for you. So, I will say, though, shout out Dan Campbell. Did you hear what he said to Kevin O'Connell after that game? See you in 2 weeks? That's some gangster-ass shit to say. And that's mad respect as well for Kevin O'Connell. Because he's just like, y'all going to beat the shit out of the Rams. I'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll see you right back. Right, same place, same time, same network, except fuck Chris Collinsworth. Anyways, moving on. God, he's going to come and burn my house down. Okay, Bucks Commanders. Who you got and why, man? This is going to be a fun game to watch.
I think it's going to be a very fun game to watch. And, man, I hate to do it, but I think I'm going to go with the Bucks on this. It's going to be a crapshoot, I think.
It is. It's going to be a crapshoot.
Whoever shows up.
So
Jaden's a rookie.
With that being said, the way the Bucks played last week, if that team shows up, they're going to get their shit kicked in. However, the experience that the Buccaneers have comparative to the Commanders, I have to take the Bucks as well. Jaden Daniels has been balling. He might come in and shut me up. But experience speaks volumes. Bucks have it. Commanders do not. I'm taking the Bucks. Eagles Pack. I think we both know who we're taking in this. I think we both know who we want to win this game. I don't really want to play the Packers right now, but I'd play the Eagles. Who you got and why?
I got the Eagles. Jalen Hurts will be back and healthy, and that team was clicking before he got his concussion. They're dangerous.
They are. I don't think they're dangerous enough to beat the Lions, however.
The road runs through Detroit. We don't have to go to Philly.
It's very true. It's very true. However, I just don't want to play him at all. I wouldn't want to see him. I don't want to play the Packers either, but I definitely got the Eagles in this game. Lions 4.5 for Philly. It's in Philly. It's going to be butt cold. Friggin' probably, maybe even snowing. Shout out to the NFL to make every stadium indoors. But the Bills will never let that happen. It's going to be a fun Wildcard weekend. It's going to be a very fun Wildcard weekend. So, that being said, we both took the Chargers. I'm gonna have to take a minute and do a little bracket for us both here. So let's just go over what you would finish this bracket off at, and we'll see how that goes. So you would have the Broncos playing the Chiefs. So Broncos versus Chiefs. Who you got? Why?
I hate to pick them, dude, but it's hard to pick against Kansas City.
Okay. I know we're going to go week through the playoffs, so I'm not going to go in-depth on any of this. I just want to get our picks so we have our original bracket and can compare it to what actually happens. So next, you would have the Ravens and the Chargers. Who would you have?
Baltimore.
So you'd have Baltimore. Okay, so that would take you down to a Ravens-Chiefs AFC Championship. Who would you take to the Super Bowl?
Ravens are going home.
Ravens are going home. Like the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl? Jesus Christ, I can't believe you picked those devil-worshipping assholes. My God, you're gonna have a Lions-Chiefs frickin' Super Bowl, aren't you? God damn you.
It's going to happen.
I might too. I can't even talk shit. We'll see. I don't know. I'm going to pick this as it goes. All right. NFC. So you would have, for the NFC, you would have the Lions playing the Vikings. Who would you take?
Lions.
All right. And then you would have the Bucks playing the Eagles. Who you got?
I got the Eagles.
And then you're taking the Lions. Okay. And then who is your Super Bowl pick? Obviously the Lions.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, brother. Wow. Okay. Mine's going to go out a little differently, but not too much. So for my game against the Chiefs, I would have them playing the Steelers. Chiefs versus Steelers. And I'm taking the Steelers because I can't pick the Chiefs in any scenario at all. So I'm definitely not having the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl. So screw you, Patty. And then my next game would be the Chargers versus the Bills, which I will take the Bills. And between the Steel City and Buffalo, I'm going to take, even though I did make a bet on the Super Bowl being the Steelers versus the Lions. If that happens, it happens. I'll win like $800. But I'm definitely going to take the Bills. As for my NFC matchups, I took the Rams, so it would be... we'd be looking at Rams versus the Lions, in which I'm taking the Lions. And then we would have Eagles, Bucks, which I would take the Bucks in, with the Lions winning no matter what. But I'm taking the Bucks because I just see them beating the Eagles. I just do. I don't know why. Something's telling me. And then between my Super Bowl being the Lions versus the Bills rematch from the earlier in the season, the Lions get their defense back and beat the absolute loving shit out of Josh Allen and those Buffalo Bills, my man. Yeah. Those are my predicts. I'm very excited about all these wildcard games. I think it's going to be one of the better wildcard weekends we've seen in recent memory. And I'm super freaking stoked up on it, man. Yeah, you got any other concluding things to say about our picks?
No, I'm excited for this weekend as well. This looks like a great weekend of football.
2 games Saturday, 3 games Sunday, 1 game Monday. My ass will be parked in my house watching every single one of those with my baby boy and my beautiful wife. I cannot wait. Okay. So, Nick, got a couple things you wanted to chit-chat about?
I do. And to elaborate on what you said, there is football Thursday. There is football Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
College football playoffs.
Don't forget about college. This is the next NFL superstars.
Love it. All right. What do you got on the docket for college football?
So Thursday, we got Penn State versus Notre Dame. I think that is going to be a great defensive game, and it's going to be a battle of the trenches. But what are your thoughts on it? And who do you got?
Notre Dame, Penn State. Goddamn. So I've been high on Notre Dame since I watched them play their first college playoff game this year. Yeah, I said that in last week's episode, I believe. And Penn State's a Big Ten team. It's hard to root against Big Ten. But I'm taking Notre Dame because they just have this swagger about them. Their running back, what is his name? I forget his name. I'm drawing a blank.
Love.
Yeah, Love. Yeah. He's a freaking monster, dude. He could score a couple tutties. This game could get out of hand quick. Notre Dame's defense is freaking stout. I'm pumped up to watch this game, and I think Notre Dame's going to take it.
So I got Penn State in this one.
Do ya?
Look what they did to Gentry there, Mr. All-Leading Rusher. Shut him down to 102 yards.
Yeah.
Their star defensive end's coming back this week for Penn State. I think I got Penn State in this. I think it's going to be a close game, though.
Hell yeah.
So then next up Friday, we got Texas, Ohio State. What do you got? Why?
I'm gonna pick Texas because I can't pick Ohio State in my good conscience. But after watching Ohio State steamroll the Oregon Ducks the way that they did, it's really hard to pick against them right now. But Texas is also playing some good ball too. But I got Texas all day.
I, unfortunately, as a Michigan fan, kills my soul here, but they made duck soup last week. So I'm going to roll with Ohio State in this one. They just all around look pissed off.
See, my no soul even can't pick them, bro.
Logically, I got to watching them play. They do look like the best team in the nation right now.
Yeah, can't deny that at all, dude. Cannot deny that at all.
I think hopefully be like two better games than what we saw in the first round. That was some pretty brutal football to watch.
Yeah, it was. We talked about this last week, but the two games flip-flopped. Like, the one game was close and the other one was a blowout where neither one of us saw that coming. Like, not even close. Yeah, just unbelievable. So we got January 9th is Thursday. That's tomorrow. Shit.
Yep.
You got Penn State, Notre Dame, ESPN, 7:30. And then Texas, Ohio State, 7:30 the following day. Yeah, it's going to be 30. Yeah, you're right. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We got 5 straight days of football, man. Really, really good football. That's awesome. I love it. So who are you going to take in the championship game then?
Ohio State over Penn State. Big Ten final.
So I'm going to take Notre Dame to win it all this year. I am. I'm just going to take them over Texas even. If you are correct, and if Ohio State pulls out the national championship, is Ryan Day's job saved?
For another year, yes.
Until he loses to Michigan again. Boom!
Yeah, absolutely. Then he probably won't even get to see the college football playoff.
Yeah, you're probably right. Probably right.
You can't lose that many years in a row to Michigan and still keep your job. I don't care what his record is.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. All right, what else you got for us, man?
So the new that just came on yesterday, the TGL Infused Technology Golf League. So got to watch it a little bit. Totally different spin on golf. We both watch a lot of golf.
Yep.
But this was totally interesting in the environment these guys had to play in with the people and the fans and getting booed. And it was a different team aspect to it, too, for the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
So I got to catch probably the second half of this last night. The facility is incredible. I can't wait to go out there and watch one sometime. I think this is definitely, as the league states, tomorrow's golf. Now we can play golf whenever we want. The simulator that they have makes me want to get a new one, even though I just got a new one. The green they have that just moves like this. Like, yes, it's the same shape, but you can rotate the same shape and make it a different green. They're playing out of sand. They're playing out of rough. They're playing out of everything. Like you said, the fans being there was incredible. I think they built a separate facility on SoFi Stadium to house this. Is that right?
No, they're actually in Florida.
Oh, it's in Florida?
Yes.
Okay, I saw SoFi attached to it. I thought it was in L.A. Okay.
A lot of people have. No, they're actually based in Florida.
Okay, well, that's even cooler. That's even a way more accessible trip for us to make it then. I'm stoked up on this, dude. Like, it was a ton of fun to watch. It's a totally different platform. The simulator software they're using is freaking on the money. The 5-story screen that they're hitting into has me envious as shit. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait for you to watch the rest of it so we can talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, it was freaking wild, dude. That is definitely the future of golf. I can see potentially, the cost of technology goes down every year. I'm thinking down the road that when the technology becomes a little bit more affordable, that companies like Topgolf will probably be building some facilities right next to their current facilities, if not possibly making all of them indoors. Yeah, I'm excited about it. Very excited. I think there's another match. It looks like they're having a match a week, it looks like.
Next Tuesday at 7.
Yep, next Tuesday at 7 on ESPN. And I need to look up these teams. I need to do a little bit more research on this. But Ricky Fowler and his team got taken to the cleaners.
They did. Rory's playing next week.
Oh, is he? Okay.
He's going to Abu Dhabi for his first tournament event this weekend, and he said he'll be back to shoot on Tuesday.
Okay. All right. That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's going to be fun, dude. It was fun watching them guys. And it's fun because they're laid back. You probably didn't get to see this, but there was a hole that was already won. Like Shane Lowry had to 2-putt from 6 foot to win the hole. And as he put his 6-foot putt, Ricky Fowler took the flagstick and threw it down and blocked the ball because he'd already given him the hole, But it's just fun to see that side of these guys because we never get to see that. There's just so much seriousness involved with the PGA, and as much respect as I have for that, you got to let these guys be who they are as well. I mean, look at the wings that Bryson DeChambeau grew, being able to do his own thing. So, yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, so a couple other quick topics that I had, talking about college football. The other bowl games were kind of freaking irrelevant. And I really think, besides Michigan beating Alabama, which I know is a sore spot in your heart because you're a fan of both of them, but kind of proved that Michigan's not as bad as their record showed this year. That was the only bowl game that I even cared about. What are your thoughts on the rest of the bowl games, either A, absolving, or B, becoming their own sort of consolation playoff?
So the biggest thing I took away from the playoffs this year is everybody that had the first round bye lost. Everybody. Every single team that had the first round bye lost. So that's something to take away from this year. All the top seeds got knocked out. People rolled them with momentum, and they got rolled over.
Yeah, so if you take that and you add what it would be 4 more teams to make it a 16-team playoff, right? So
yeah, I think that's pushing it, though.
It is, but it gives you 4 more games, which if you took away 4 bowl games, I don't think anybody would notice except for alma maters from those particular schools. I don't know, man. It's definitely something to think about, but there's going to be a lot of change coming to college football these next few years that I don't know is going to be good, bad, or otherwise. This has been good so far because it's been so much entertaining football. But we'll see what it evolves into.
You know what I took away from the Michigan-Alabama game, though?
What's that?
Alabama was the first team out. It showed me that they didn't deserve to be in the college football playoff, and it would have been a disgrace if they would have got into the college football playoff.
Yeah, because, look what ended up happening,
It was brutal.
Yeah, it was. So, yeah. All right, my last thing tonight. Got to catch Pistons game a couple nights ago. They ended up beating the Trailblazers last few minutes of the game, which was awesome. Watch them trail, the whole game. I think now they have more wins this year than they had all of last year. They're 18 and 19 and 18 or something along those lines. Shout out to the Pistons, doing way better. That's awesome. Very, very happy to see that. And last night was watching the Red Wings play, and they won in overtime against the Ottawa Senators. That was a very exciting game. Dylan Larkin had first goal of the game. Odds were plus 800 or some shit. Super cool to see that. It's fun to watch. We've always grown up, Nick, and correct me if I'm wrong, got to watch one team out of Detroit be decent all the time. We got to watch the Pistons in their heyday with Rip and Chauncey and all them guys. We got to watch the Tigers make a playoff run shortly after the Pistons stopped being really good. And all growing up through the 90s and the early 2000s, the Red Wings were always a force to be reckoned with, while the Lions just sucked. And now that the Lions are good, everybody else was freaking sucking. And now it seems like all of our Detroit sports are at least coming back, not to maybe playoffs good and stuff yet, but we're getting relevant. What are your thoughts on Detroit sports as a whole right now?
Well, playoffs in the NBA is a pretty loose term because now 10 teams out of each conference make it with the play-in games.
Yeah, we got the shit rocked out of us.
Yeah, the Pistons are in the 9 seed right now.
Yep.
That's kind of a loose term, but it's just nice to see.
Yeah.
Let's get back to playoff sports.
Yeah, and I think we're getting close. I really do. Michigan State's ranked back up in the top 25 in men's basketball. Is Michigan?
I don't know if they're ranked, but they're having a really good year.
Well, that's good. Let's look really fast.
And hopefully well recovery for Jaden Ivey. Fractured femur.
So Michigan's 24, and Michigan State is 16. So, yes, both of the Big Ten teams in the state of Michigan are in the top 25 in basketball. That is awesome. That is so freaking good to see, man. Yeah. All right, brother. We are approaching our hour for our Hulaham Hour. You got any other things you want to touch on before we peace out for this week?
I do not. Have a great weekend of football and have fun.
Happy football. Thanks for tuning in again. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Steamlabs.com/Hulaham Hour. And on that note, as soon as I can find my mouse again, we are Hulaham out.